Okay, y'all, let's get into these fried cauliflower chops. Yes, cauliflower chops. No pork over here whatsoever. Cauliflower is super inexpensive and you can manipulate it in so many ways. So today we're going to be battering them up and we're going to be deep frying them. The only challenging thing with making this recipe is actually getting the perfect cauliflower steak. And when I say steak, I mean like the chop part. So I took a head of cauliflower. I found the biggest one that I could. The bigger, the better. And you're just going to slice it in pieces just like this, kind of like on its side. And the reason why I say it's a little tricky is because it can tend to fall apart when you're trying to get that perfect shape. So yeah, make sure that you have a place to store all your extra cauliflower because most of the time it will break up when you're trying to cut out your piece. Usually I'm able to get about 3 good slices. If I'm lucky, 4 good slices out of a big cauliflower. Once you're done cutting those up, you're going to just set them to the side and we're going to work on our wet and dry batter. My wet batter is going to consist of flour and a little bit of plant milk. You can also use water, that's totally fine, but I find that the plant milk just gives it a different texture and just helps everything stick a little better. The full recipe will be posted below, so don't worry if you can't get the measurements in right now. For my dry batter, I'm just going in with some flour and then I'm seasoning it up with just a little veggie seasoning, a little all-purpose, and a little paprika. The seasonings is your world, okay? This is your world. So whatever you would season your regular meat with or whatever favorite seasonings that you do use, you're going to literally just put that inside this batter. And you're going to make sure you're seasoning your wet batter as well. Same seasonings in both. Okay, and we're just gonna go in with our cauliflower. We're gonna put it in the wet batter first. Make sure it's fully coated with the wet batter. And then you see I'm switching my hands because I don't want my flour to get all wet from my wet hand, putting it in the batter, if you know what I mean. So make sure you got a wet hand for dipping and a dry hand for the dry batter part. And notice I'm only doing this one time. I'm not double battering this, as in putting the cauliflower back into the wet batter after the dry. No way. Please don't do that. It's going to be too much. It's going to be too cakey. All you need is just a thin layer of that wet batter, and then you're just going to go right on top with the dry batter. I really love this recipe because it is light, and that's the reason why I'm not double battering. It's not necessary. You want to be able to taste the cauliflower, and it's going to cook so perfectly. It's going to melt in your mouth. Just wait and see. While I got those battered up, I'm just making a quick gravy that I'm going to pour on top. This is also going to be plant-based. So you're going to start with equal parts of flour, equal parts butter. Melt down your butter first and then slowly whisk in your flour. Then I got some veggie broth. Please don't be like me making a mess. I was just being lazy and did not want to get an actual measuring cup. But yeah, definitely get a measuring cup. And I'm just adding in some veggie broth, okay? You can make your own veggie broth with just seasonings and some boiled water, or you can also just buy some veggie stock from the store. The most important part is making sure that it is piping hot when you are about to add it to your gravy mixture. Okay, so just whisk that up really, really good. First you started with the butter, added the flour, whisk that in. And you want to continue to whisk this on low heat because you want that flour to cook down. There's nothing like a cakey gravy and you can still taste the flour. Ugh. Also, you want to make sure you're seasoning your gravy too. Remember, this is just butter and flour, so we definitely need to add all the seasonings that we could dream of in here, whether it's Cajun seasoning, all-purpose seasoning, seasoned salt, whatever you need to do to get this gravy popping, add it in there, okay? You can't go wrong adding the seasonings. Just, of course, don't make it too salty. All right, boom, our gravy is going to be resting. Now we're just going to drop in our cauliflower. So I got my oil on 350 and I let it heat up and I just went in and dropped my cauliflower in. I checked on it a little bit in between. It was still looking light skinned, so I knew that it needed some more time. But baby, when it starts to look like this, golden crispy, it's ready. This is probably only going to take you about 5 minutes. And if you're not using a full deep fryer like me and you're just using the stove, let's just say about 4 minutes on each side. But you want to make sure you're checking on it, making sure it's not burning. But if you can deep fry it in a big pot or a skillet, that way it's all frying at the same time, that would be more ideal instead of trying to flip it over. Once they came out, I just popped them on a paper towel to get rid of any excess grease. And look, y'all, like, look how beautiful this looks. I just cannot even believe, like, it's giving pork chop, but it's definitely not pork. Now, we did season our flour, but of course, we want to make sure we season the outside. So I just lightly put a little sea salt on it. You can also season this with lemon pepper. So good. You can also just add in some other type of seasonings like vegetable, oregano. It's your world. Whatever you want to put on it after it comes out the fryer, it's your world. And mind you, the cauliflower is nice and tender. A lot of people think that you actually have to pre-cook the cauliflower before you fry it. I'm here to tell you that you do not have to do that. That's the best thing about cooking this, is that it won't take long, and the cauliflower is going to naturally come out tender and melt in your mouth because it was in the fryer. Next, I'm just going on top with that gravy that we made, and I also sauteed some regular white onions, and I just put them on top and basically made like some smothered cauliflower chops. I wasn't even trying to do this, but I was just like, why not? Let me just taste it all together. Because the cauliflower tasted phenomenal by itself. So when I added that gravy, it was chef's kiss. So make sure you try this. If you got some vegans coming over for Thanksgiving, how about you be a good person and just have this ready for them, okay? Let me know what y'all think about this recipe.